Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name Hidayatusyifa Nuzula. My student number 061. Class TBIG. Okay. In this video, I want to share my slide about listen and speak critically. And this video to fulfill the final exam multimodal listening and speaking theory and practice course. Okay. Critical listening. Critical listening is first and foremost a skill that can be learned and improved. Is understand and evaluate the meaning of the speaker's message on several levels: logical argument, strong evidence, valid conclusion, implication of the message for you and your organization, speaker's intention and modifies, and any relevant information or point omitted. Critical listening is context means using careful, systematic thinking and reasoning to see whether a message makes sense in light of factual evidence. Critical listening can be learned with practice, but it's not necessarily easy to do. Critical listening is first and foremost a skill that can be learned and improved. 6 ways to improve your critical listening. Recognizing the difference between fact and opinions, uncovering assumptions, be open to new ideas, rely on reason and common sense, relate new ideas to old ones, take notes. The first, recognizing the difference between fact and opinions. Part of critical listening is to learn to separate opinions from fact, and this works two ways. Critical listeners are aware of whether a speaker is delivering a factual message or a message based on opinion, and they are also aware to the interplay between their own opinions and fact as they listen to message. Number 2, uncovering assumption. Assumptions are gaps in a logical sequence that listeners passively fill with their own ideas and opinion and might or might not be accurate. When listening to a public speech, you may find yourself being asked to assume something is a fact when in reality many people question that fact. When you listen critically to a speech, you might hear information that appears unsupported by evidence. You shouldn't accept that information unconditionally. You would accept it under the condition that the speakers offer credible evidence that directly support it. Number 3, be open to new ideas. In the world of public speaking, we must be open to new ideas. Let's face it, people have a tendency to filter out information they disagree with and to filter in information that supports what they already believe. We are not suggesting that you have to agree with every idea that you are faced with in life. Rather, we are suggesting that you at least listen to the message and then evaluate the message. Next, rely on reason and common sense. If you are listening to a speech and your common sense tells you that the message is illogical, you very well might be right. If the message is inconsistent with things you already know, if the argument is illogical, or if the language exaggerated, you should investigate the issue before accepting or rejecting the message. Often, you will not be able to take this step during the presentation of the message. It may take longer to collect enough knowledge to make that decision for yourself. Relate new ideas to old ones. As both a speaker and a listener, one of the most important things you can do to understand a message is to relate new ideas to previous previously held ideas. The last one, take notes. Careful, selective note-taking is important because you want an accurate record that reflects the meaning of the message. However much you may concentrate on the notes, you could inadvertently leave out the important words such as not and undermine the reliability of your otherwise carefully written notes. Instead, if you give the same care and attention to listening, you are less likely to make that kind of a mistake. Next slide. Listen ethnically. Ethical listening rests heavily on honest intention. We should extend to speakers the same respect we want to receive when it's our turn to speak. We should be facing the speakers with our eyes open. We should not be checking our cell phones. We should avoid any behavior that belittles the speakers or the message. It doesn't mean we must accept everything we hear, but ethnically we should refrain from trivializing each other's concern. We have all had the painful experience of being ignored or misunderstood. This is how we know that one of the greatest gifts one human can give to another is listening. Next slide. Elements and level of listening. Author Marvin Gottlieb sets 4 elements critical listening. Number 1, attention. Focus, preparation of visual and verbal stimuli. Number 2, hearing is the psychological action of opening the door to your ears. Number 3, understanding is giving meaning to received message. Number 4, remember, store meaningful information, manage group process. 4 level of listening. Number 1, knowledge. Number 2, sympathy. Number 3, paraphrase. And then number 4, empathy. The following list provides some suitable activities for encouraging critical listening. Examine the message, analyze the advertisement, what do I really mean, what's the issue, and then main idea, the pyramid. Okay, examine the message. This point is just one way to critically examine a speaker's message with several questions, such as what the message, who's the speakers, what the evidence, so is it presented. Analyze the advertisement. Analyze the advertisement involves listening to an advertisement and deciding on the device being used to influence the audience. What do I really mean? Encourage students from all phases to check for misunderstandings and subtitles in what they hear. What is issue? Students can take part in discussion forum. Students can take part in discussion forum on controversial, serious, or interesting issue. Individuals in the audience listen to the elements of the argument being presented and then investigate and analyze. Main idea pyramid. The main idea pyramid is a graphic organizer that helps students determine and record important information they have heard. Here, benefit of critical listening. There are 4 Number 1, it can help to understand the person and their context. Number 2, listening critically is one of the most important skills you can have. An active process of getting information. and ideas. Number 3, process for understanding what is said and evaluating, judging, and forming an opinion on what you hear. Number 4, by listening critically, you will be more likely to notice unwarranted assumptions in a speech, which might prompt you to question the speakers if questions are taken, or to do further research to examine the validity of the speaker's assumption. Next point, critical speaking. Speaking is one of the skills that must be mastered and really must be able to be practiced in the field with other people as the interlocutor. Through speaking, a speaker communicates to convey the intent and purpose, or states that communicative is an exchange between people, knowledge, information, ideas, opinions, and feeling. 3 critical steps to speaking better. The first, articulation is not the answer. Use linking by gluing your words together. Second, speak with pause. Our brains process chunks of information. 3, be relaxed. Humans perform better at everything they do when they are relaxed. Next slide. Critical speaking is ability to express, convey ideas with the help of critical thinking. This is a speak critical. Effective speakers reflect on their speaking. Effective speakers, number 1, are able to analyze and critically evaluate what they have said. Number 2, can review notes they made before speaking to evaluate their effectiveness. Number 3, are able to receive feedback and build on it for future speaking. Number 4, are able to develop a new or deeper understanding of the topic and the speaking experience through discussion and questioning. Number 5, set goals for further speaking. Supporting students to reflect. Student reflection needs to include feedback from teachers and peers, and is from an essential part of setting realistic and achievable goals. Technique to speak critically. There are some techniques which help students to develop critical thinking and speak English. Number 1, elicitation test. Watching short animated videos, the BBC newscasts, poster, documentaries, the editors, YouTube videos, drama, and even educational clip on the internet or on different messenger programs can serve authentic real words and up-to-date educational content which can create unique, relevant, and fun listen to immerse students in their learning. Number 2, by applying and conducting the critical thinking skills, speaking ability among students can substantially improve. Speakers take a more dynamic role in speaking and try to understand and make decisions in challenging circumstances. Features of spoken language. In order to discuss the nature of spoken language, we must be clear about different aspects of spoken language. For example, status, creativity as a feature of spoken language for Miller and Weinert. The simplicity of noun phrase and its important characteristics of spoken language. While talking about teaching speaking skills is first concept which normally come to mind's fluency, accuracy dichotomy. Based on Segalowitz, fluency and ability is the second language to produce or comprehend utterance smoothly, rapidly, and accurately. It reveals that both concepts are closely related to each other. Two important aspects can influence fluency: speed of delivery and regularity, means a natural amount and description of pause. Grammatical and lexical. Miller and Werner discuss spoken language grammar and state that the phrase and clause in spoken language are syntactically simpler than in written language. In addition, McCarthy holds the opinion that spoken language deal with certain types of ellipses such as auxiliary verbs, subject pronouns, and article, and regard the lexical aspect of spoken language. Rickenbach note that the range of spoken language vocabulary differs from that of written language. The last part, advantage of speak critically. There are 3 points. Number 1, it allows us to form connection, influence decision, and modify change. Number 2, speak critically hold a special place of value. Good speakers are also good writers, for they would have written several drafts of each speech. Number 3, it can improve the oral expression of talk, develop confidence in public speaking, think quickly on your feet, and build leadership and communication. Okay, thank you. That's all explanation about listen and speak critically. I hope it can give benefit from the reader, audience, and myself. Thanks for your attention. Sorry for my mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.